Welcome back to MMA Oddsbreaker. Today we're talking to Czar Sklavos, getting ready to fight Nicholas Burgos. Come up here in RFA 27. It's actually right down the street from you, right? In Boise, Idaho is where the fight's going to be?
Yep, it's about 120 miles away, and it's nice to be fighting so close to home. You know, the weight cut is real easy that way, and you can be comfortable. You know,
You've 3 of your last 4 fights have been in Japan. So obviously you got to be happy about not having to board a plane, not having to clear customs, not having that 15-hour jet lag, having to deal with all that mess, once you get there, the time change. Take me a little bit through, what's your process when you're going to Japan, how you deal with the time change from, it's morning is night, and night is morning, having to get up and work out, and, all of a sudden you're fighting sometimes at 2, 3, or 4 in the morning, your time, your body clock time, but it's only 7 o'clock at night, local time in Japan.
Yeah, that was a little different there. It's funny, going there was not too bad to get adjusted to their time. Coming back is when it really hits you.
Yeah.
And I guess the only complaint I have is really was the food over there. I mean, a lot of fish, a lot of shrimp, stuff like that. Not a lot of beef over there. I like to eat steaks and stuff like that. I always felt like I was hungry over there, and it was making weight wasn't too bad. The plane ride really sucks. That kind of drains you, So we had one extra day where it kind of get used to the time and then kind of bounce back from the plane ride. So that was nice in that aspect of it. But it's I prefer to stay in the U.S.
Yeah, it's definitely better fighting, as close to home as possible. And especially we're lucky here when guys are fighting and they live in Vegas. A lot of the fights are in Vegas, so it's very easy for them to go on. They don't even check into the hotel room. They stay in their own bed. They spend a night in their own bed. They check into the hotel room, so they have it. So after the fight's over, they have a place to go to get changed and shower up, and then a place to fall back to after the party's over, so they're not drinking and driving. But for a lot of guys, especially for you, you're in Idaho. There's not that many fights that actually happen in Idaho to your level. There's a lot of fights that happen in Idaho, but not to your level. Like you'd have to take a real big step down to keep competing in your area. So how important is it that they have? It is 120 miles away, but for you compared to 12,000 miles away, it's a huge difference. Yeah. How important was it when RFA called you up and said, "Hey, look, we want you to fight on this card. It's going to be local to you, local-esque to you." How important was it for you to be a part of this card?
Oh man, it was huge. Biggest career step biggest step in my career since I started fighting. I think this is really the beginning of the path to the UFC for me. But it all starts here on July 3rd, a week from today. I gotta really perform well and put on a great show. Hopefully, go out there and get the finish. That's what I always strive for: get the finish.
Is this a long-term contract with RFA?
I have a 3-fight deal with them, okay. Yeah. So
good.
So pretty good deal for me. I mean,
yeah.
And then my debut fight for them is, like you say, 120 miles away. So it couldn't have been a better situation for me.
And this is for the folks at home that don't know. There's only a few organizations that the UFC actually looks to, almost like farm leagues. Legacy Fighting Championships down in Texas, and RFA is the other one who Caesar's fighting for. And if the UFC calls, they have a UFC out clause. If UFC calls, they let him out of his contract. No problems for him to go to the UFC. So it's great for you to get in the RFA. And it is your stepping stone to get to the UFC. And it's been a long time that people have kind of not really seen you because you've been fighting in these small organizations. Is there any added pressure knowing that, hey, the UFC is watching this? They watch every single card. Joe Silva and Sean Shelby watch every single RFA card. They pay attention to it to look for their new talent. Is there any added pressure knowing that's going on?
Yeah, I mean, not during the fight itself, but everything building up to it. That's always in the back of your mind. You think about it and you think, well, am I training hard enough? And you just, for me, to get rid of any doubts I have about, as soon as I start having fears, I go out and train. It's like that helps alleviate any of my fears. Just put in the work, because that's the only way you get better, putting in the time. So for me, go ahead.
Talk us through, you're a week out right now from your fight. talk us through what's going to happen this next week leading up to the fight next Friday night.
Probably get maybe 1 or 2 days at the most more sparring, you know, not heavy stuff, just kind of light contact, and do a lot of wrestling, a lot of rolling. I don't really do much weight training. I probably should, because I think I'm maybe a little bit smaller on the 125 side. I have fought up to 135, but that was really before they had flyweights. You know, I just kind of just take whatever I can get, but more, I think my cardio is good. I want to focus on being technical at this point in time, up until this point, until Friday. You know,
is fighting your full-time profession, or do you have to actually have? Are you still in that weird phase of being a professional fighter, where you still have to have another job as well to make sure that all the bills get paid?
Oh yeah, I've got a full-time job. You know, I've got a wife and 2 kids. So my son's 4, my daughter's 7, and I do work full-time. As a matter of fact, I'm working right now. That's why I'm sitting in my truck. Yeah, you know, I work regular job. I sell liquid feed supplements to the dairy industry, molasses-based products. So okay. I'm out there all day, you know, with the cows. As a matter of fact, I've got a dairy right now. There's a bunch of cows right behind me. I can show you, but what doesn't make a difference to what we're trying to accomplish. But yeah, I'm you know, work full-time, get home, train at night, spend some time with the family, and that's pretty much my day every day.
Is there a dollar amount that you're like, okay, now I can be a full-time fighter, I don't have to stop? Do you know what that dollar amount is to go, I can quit my job and just pursue this profession full-time?
You know, that's hard to come up with, because, you know, I'm not the youngest guy. I'm 33 now.
Right.
There is a window of opportunity for fighting in your life, and that's kind of why I got into it. You know, I was 28 when I started 5 years ago professionally, and I wanted to do it before I got too old and said, oh, I could have done that, and I had any regret about it.
Right.
So for me, that's difficult, because I really like the job that I have now, and I think I get in a good amount of training. I mean, I don't see where quitting my job would benefit me at any dollar amount.
Okay.
I mean, you know,
yeah.
if I was making money like Pacquiao, Mayweather, yeah, okay, maybe then.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that ain't gonna happen.
Everybody, if they're making $1 million or plus a fight, you know, that's what they're doing. But the reality of it is that once you start getting, in my opinion, once you start getting into that you know, $100,000 range, $150,000 range with all your sponsorships and your fight purse, then you're like, I gotta start thinking about doing only this, because this is where a lion's share of my money's coming from, and stopping these other jobs. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys my age had to go through it. Not so much at your age now, because the generations have changed. You know, you kind of know where you're going to be at. And you're right, you are 33. You might have 5 years left. You might have 15 years left. But that's that. Okay, what am I going to fall back on? And it's tough. A lot of fighters don't have a fallback career when they're going to retire. You have a fallback career right now. You're actually doing it, and this is something I'm assuming that you can do until full retirement age in your 60s, correct?
Yes.
So
and I've been doing it for 8 years currently. So
okay, yeah,
I've got a lot of time invested there.
Same company too.
Yes.
Yeah. See, you got 8 years in. I mean, that's you're almost a black belt at that profession. You know, you have 2 more years. You know, it takes about 10 years of hard training to get to a black belt. You're almost a black belt at that profession, and you've been doing it longer than you've been professional fighting. So yeah, it is. You are in a tough situation. You're that new breed of fighter that's in that spot. Like, okay, I'm making money here, but I'm making money here. Well, what do I need to quit? Do I really need to quit? It sounds like to me that you don't. You can keep spending time with cows, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom spent a lot of her time growing up in Idaho. She was from Idaho Falls, so it's. Okay. I understand the Idaho mentality of the hardworking blue collar kind of worker. Almost, if you were a full-time fighter, you wouldn't have to do with yourself, because you're only training 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, and then the other time when you think you should be working, you're kind of trying to rest and relax, but it drives you crazy because you like to work.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep yourself busy, and it's funny because, you know, when I'm not working and when I'm not training, I got to be building something. Like, I just like doing something with myself. I like thinking a problem through and seeing it to the end. You know, I just built a shed and I built an awning and
oh wow,
I built a canoe, a nice wooden cedar canoe.
Well,
So,
I can use a canoe if you want to build me one. I like canoes.
that's a long process there. That's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, yeah, and very tedious because if you go cut too deep in one side, all of a sudden it's gonna leak. So you got to be careful about every way you go it and make sure it's completely sealed. That is, building canoes are tough. That's a skill that I have no desire to try to learn. I don't have the patience. That's the problem. I'm too hyperactive. I don't have that kind of patience. But let's see this problem through. Let's talk about Nicholas Burgos. Talk me through. Have you been able to see any tape on him? Do you know anything about him as a competitor?
You know, I really know hardly anything about him. I haven't seen any video. I seen a little thing on YouTube he put up where he said he's mostly the stand-up fighter, kickboxer. Mm-hmm. That's his background. I imagine he's pretty good on the ground because he's coming from Jeremy Horn School, or at least he's going to know, some basic stuff. He's been fighting for a little while, so he's not going to be an easy fight. He's on a 6-fight win streak.
Yep.
Guy's 9-3. We have fought some of the same opponents. But I think overall I'm a better fighter just all around. I'm going to do like I always try to do, though. Get to the ground and finish with a choke. That's my favorite way to do it. There's no question. You put a guy to sleep.
Looking at these records here, Nicholas is, like you say, he's 9-3 with 3 KOs, 1 submission, 8 decisions, which isn't too shabby. It's a pretty decent record, especially, but surprising for a guy that comes from Jeremy Horn School. You'd expect a lot more submission game coming out from a guy from that stature. We look at your record, 11-4, 9 submissions, 2 decisions. So obviously, you want to put a guy to sleep. That's your favorite way to do it. It's the best way to put a guy down, and you kind of like that. That's kind of your stamp on your fight. Is like I've dominated you, and I've made you tap out or put you all the way out. Is there a possibility that have you been working hard enough on your hand game that you could knock him out, even though he is a kickboxer? You could catch him coming through.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen in a fight, and I don't look to just solely take a guy down and just jiu-jitsu him. Whatever it takes to get to that point. Maybe just punish the guy enough with your hands where, you've seen it before. Guys just give you their neck because they don't want to take any more punches.
Yeah, no, that happens quite a bit actually. Still, even now, you would think that with all the tape out there, all the YouTube videos, the people would see that, hey, even when I'm getting hit, I still got to turtle up. And it's just natural human reaction. You get hit and you start looking for a way out. You're trying to see what's coming at you, and all of a sudden your neck's exposed and fight's over.
So that's really, I've worked on my stand-up a lot. I am also from a kickboxing background. My dad, he was a world champion kickboxer.
That's right.
He was undefeated, 16-0. So I grew up around fighting, and I learned from him as well. And we, sometimes we still spar to this day. Oh. He's tough. He hits pretty hard still. He's slick. He's got some old man tricks on me. He outsmarts me. It kind of draws me in a little bit, but he got the stamina anymore, so that's a good plus for me.
Push him into deep waters, makes him fall apart.
Right.
Let's see. Thanks for coming on here. I appreciate taking a little bit of a break in the middle of your hard work day before you call it a wrap. I appreciate it. Coming in. When do you take off for Boise?
I'll leave on Thursday, the day of weigh-ins.
Okay. And you'll work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, your regular job full-time all the way through till then?
Yep, and I might even work a half day at Thursday, just depending. Because my job, it's kind of, I can work on the way up there.
Oh, okay, because you have to go visit. You actually have to go visit the dairy farm, so you could actually schedule on your way out. Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Because I do, for the dairy, I do service, sales, whatever it takes to get the job done. That's what I do. Something breaks down, I come out and fix it. Okay. I schedule the orders. I do everything. I try to make it least headache as possible for the dairy, the producer.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, there it is. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of the day. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. It's an honor being interviewed by you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your induction to the Hall of Fame. That's awesome.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it was a big surprise to me. So I'm still trying to formulate everything. Like it's still kind of surreal at this point. But yeah. Thanks.
Oh, you deserve it, man. You deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great rest of the day. We'll talk again soon.
You too.